Friday, March the 11th, and what a week. The portfolio took a hit this week of 62,000 crowns. For the year, we're still up 296,000, and at the current exchange rate, it's just below 28,000 euro, or roughly 30,000 US dollars. A lot's happened since my last upload, and the initial aggressions and agitations on the Ukrainian border has now turned into a conflict of magnitude. I don't want to get into the geopolitics of it all, but I will say that all aggressions, especially military aggressions towards civilians, should be condemned, and my heart goes out to all those families and the people involved now in Ukraine, living in turmoil, in fear of what's happened in the last couple of weeks. I was laying on a beach when I saw in horror the price of oil soar and the Russian index collapsed double digits in a single day. And I just surmised that nothing good was going to come of that. So over the last couple of weeks, we've seen the market sell off. But my portfolio's managed to hold up quite well besides the turbulence in the world markets. Touched 23%. This corresponded with the US dollar rising against the Swedish crown, reaching just below 10 before subsequently it dropped back down, and this reflected on my portfolio. So we fell back down to 17%. The vast majority of my holdings are in US equities, and so the relationship between the US dollar and the Swedish krona plays a big part in the performance of my portfolio. So the portfolio is still outperforming all the benchmarks around the world. We see the Standard & Poor's 500's down close to 12.5% this year. The Dow Jones is faring a little bit better, but that's still around minus 10% for the year. And we're crushing the Nasdaq Composite. That's just doing appalling this year. That's down close to 19%. Big portion of my portfolio is invested in oil, in the super majors. I own 3 of them. Two of my biggest holdings are in Chevron and Exxon. And because of the complications going on in Europe right now, it's actually pushed the price of oil to, at one point, it touched $131 a barrel. As I've stated in past videos, it's the combination of picking up US equities when the Swedish krona had relative strength against the US dollar, the subsequent rise in the US dollar, and now the robust movement of the barrel of oil, the price of crude oil. That's the catalyst for my outperformance. And so investing is really about making estimations going forward and trying to discount that into today and making the correct decisions and executions today. In September of last year, when the Omicron variant came out, I started loading up on banks and financial services sector. And I think now in the current conditions, in the current climates with runaway inflation, we're waiting actually this week on announcement from the Federal Reserve on what they're going to do with the overnight lending rate. But I think those plays are going to come good because we're all expecting, analysts are expecting the Fed to raise interest rates. And so banks do really well during high interest rate environments. But we'll see how it all plays out. And so in the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy my final month here in Mexico. We spent 5 months on the road. Started off in Mexico City, went down the Pacific side, and now the last month we've worked our way up the Yucatan. From the last video in Bacalar that I shot, we've been to Tulum, Playa del Carmen, Cancun, and a couple of islands, Cozumel and Isla Mujeres. Just as a side note, I actually prefer the Pacific side of Mexico. I find it more authentic. Don't get me wrong, the Yucatan side's beautiful. The waters are just amazing. It's just something you've got to go and see for yourself. The sand's immaculate. I think one of the best places I've ever been to is on the island of Cozumel. The water's crystal clear. We did a boat trip out there, which was pretty cool. And we also did the Cancun thing. and we stayed a few nights at the Hyatt Ziva in Cancun. I must say I don't normally do the all-inclusive, but I thoroughly enjoyed the stay here. I'm very blessed to be able to do what I'm doing, which is traveling around and using my phone, just investing off my phone. I don't spend hours a day perusing information, and it was very easy to wake up every morning to this view and away from all the troubles and the complications in Europe right now. So we're about to go into uncharted waters. We're still struggling with the hangover from the coronavirus, and now we're in an environment with high inflation and an impending international conflict. But through all of this, I'm sure the markets are going to be highly volatile, but I'm going to make sure to be focused, and more importantly, I'm going to be invested through this whole thing. Because I'm spending the remaining time here in Playa del Carmen, I'm not going to be moving around, so I'm going to have plenty of time to keep my videos updated and my portfolios updated, so there won't be a 3-week delay like there was from the last video. And if you like this sort of content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.